back. Thank you for staying with us. This is still Star Parents right here on your Star TV channel, and you're raising stars. Mama Fabs is still with us, and we're going to another dimension of this discussion. It's still the girl child and the society. Mama Fabs, thank you for still being here with us.
It's a great pleasure.
Such a great pleasure. We've learned so much already. Okay, so now let's talk about gender-based violence. You know, in a society where we always look for every opportunity to fault the girl child.
Yeah.
You know, girl child is a rape victim, for example, when you're asking her, what were you putting on? What were you doing there? What was happening? You know, they ask irrelevant questions, and even going to report some of these cases to law enforcement agency is a no-no, because they look for a way to compound all of these issues. So how exactly can we protect the girl child?
All right, thank you very much. When I was growing up, I wouldn't lie to you, there was this particular man my father warned me about. And I was like, I was not even 10, I was around 9. And I was like, why would my father say I shouldn't hang around this person? And I mean, it was someone we all looked up to in the society. Well, I didn't know until a particular day I got back from school. I was much more grown now. I got back from the campus. I was doing my ND program then. And he was like, Ruth, mommy, you didn't even come to see me. I was like, okay, Daddy, I'll come and say. Do you know that he told me to come at a certain time, and mommy, I did not tell anybody I went. And that day, it was God that saved me. But you know, at that point, I had read so much about how to protect yourself. And so when he was trying to do some gum body, hey, as he was trying to just corner me one side like this, I just ducked.
Hey, Oshe, my mommy.
And ran out of the house. Till today, I've not told my father, because if I had told him, I know what my father can do. What am I saying? Why did I share that story? Growing up, I believe that the highest level of vulnerability is sexuality. If you have gotten to a place where you are comfortable around a guy to the extent that he's now beginning to feel he can obtain you, I think you have not protected yourself enough. Yes. I'm going to say this to all the girl child looking at me, because see, when rape happens, we only know when it happens. We cannot tell when you heal from the event. Sure. So what I always advocate for is that, first of all, protect yourself. Number one, don't hang around places where you can be taken advantage of. I say this because, see, I am a girl child advocate, and I've seen girls who were sexually harassed, who were not even harassed, but were raped. And I've seen that the trauma is not something that goes away just like that. Sure. And I'm like, see, the whole society will still come and blame you and say, this, what were you wearing? The best way you can protect yourself is to have sense.
Have sense. Have sense.
Book sense is different from street sense.
I know, right? It's true.
They teach you book in school, but see, street sense can only be earned on the street. Like, see, for instance, these days we see a lot of young people. You know, a friend was sharing with me yesterday how that he went to an hotel and he had to lodge there, and he was literally crying. Like, he saw very young girls. Of course, they're in an institution now. And all of them came to the hotel. They were on shisha. Those who were using, you know, and in that situation, when you're already high, you cannot tell what a guy can do to you.
Sure.
So it's to me, it's some level of being careless. When you hang around people, you hang around places where you know that already, even when you are not high, they are ogling at you. They look at you a certain way. You should know that this is a potential rapist. They will not teach you all of this in school. But you owe yourself the right to know that, see, this body that I carry, whoever man that will eventually have a piece of me must be that one man who deserves it. Because a rapist does not deserve you in the first place. Protect yourself, because eventually, I mean, the case was recently thrown out. I guess the pedophile is roaming the streets of Lagos. I won't mention his name. That popular Nigerian actor who abused a girl, but he's he's on the streets of Lagos now.
Yes.
So what do you want to tell me? I would just say that you are the girl. You are the one with the destiny. You are the one with the life. Protect yourself first, because it's not nice out there.
Streets are bloody.
Yeah.
Very bloody.
And they are not smiling.
They're not smiling.
So man, you hold yourself. But let's now assume that it happens. So what do? The first thing they would tell you to do, once rape happens and you want to file a suit, you need evidence. And your evidences must be admissible. One of the reasons why the case I spoke about was thrown out was because the evidence was not admissible. Something had happened some years back. You now said you want to get an evidence after the event has happened. It was one of the reasons why the case was, because eventually the man didn't do anything. In the context of the law, rape happens when a man has gained carnal knowledge.
Yes, that's what they said.
That's what they said. So all the attitude of him still tearing your bra, tearing your rape has not happened. My dear, do you think you really want to go through all of that? If you have not been raped. But if you have been raped and you want to file a suit, you've got to have evidence that is admissible in the court. And that is what really makes charges about rape really, really tricky and dicey. And that's why a lot of families will be like, well, we're not going through all of that. And the girl, you know, at times they will say, everybody in the streets already know that, that girl, they have tampered with her. You know, and some people say, who do you want to marry? They will even open chapter for the guy that, whoa, that girl, at one point in her life, they raped her. They will not even add Maggie, curry, sesame, nutmeg, everything to make the It was not just one guy, about 4 of them. Is that the person you want to? So we live in a society that is not even nice.
At all.
To the girl child.
But you think it's a Nigerian thing?
It's not. But I think we live in a system where we do not punish rape culprits or offenders enough. For instance, I think I can mention his name now. R. Kelly was given a life sentence. And for girl child advocates, that was a win. And then it was possible in the US because there was a system that actually protected the girl child. Do you know that in America, if a girl says you raped her, that's all they need to put you behind.
Sure, I was about to say that there were no evidences.
Yeah.
Okay, those who came forward didn't have evidence, but they just came with their testimony to say, this man did this.
This to us. So, but in Nigeria, no, even if he tore your bra, he tore your pants, he did everything. If he did not gain, and the kind of knowledge they are talking about, they must take you to the hospital. They must get some samples from your it's horrible. So you don't want to go through that. And as a parent, you don't want your child to go through that. And I think we should talk about how parents can protect their girl child. Because when people say, Shamwa in the corner, I was like, listen, the girl child suffers more than the boy child. She bears the brunt of anything done to her than the boy child. For instance, if a girl child was raped and she kept quiet about it, you didn't know, and suddenly you discovered that she was pregnant. Some people will tell you, that kind of pregnancy, leave it. I've read stories, I've seen cases where a girl was raped, they left the pregnancy, the girl had to drop out of school, and I'm like, what in God's name is going on here? Because you mean you are trying to raise a child that would live with a stigma all the days of his life. And they were like, they said since he's already pregnant, that they cannot take the life. They can, And I'm like, this rape thing is even much more complex than we thought. And so prevention of rape is much more better than trying to save a rape victim. All right? And if you have been raped, see, I'm going to tell you this. You need to go for counseling. And the kind of counseling I'm talking about is not the kind of counseling we know. It's you talking to a shrink, you talking to a professional who knows what to do, who knows how to extract the information they need from you and also help you heal through the process. But let me tell you this. Rape is not the end of your life or your existence.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say this because, you know, we spoke about the cancel culture. When people say, because this has happened to her, they just, you know, they put you in one place and they're like, one thing you've got to do for yourself if you have ever been raped, maybe nobody even knew, is to first of all break free from that experience. And I'll say this because one experience is not enough to maim you forever.
Sure.
The rape experience can only be powerful when you keep replaying it in your mind. I've seen girls who jumped to their own death. In India, for instance, if a girl was raped, she would jump from a very tall building and die. And I was like, Kilo, why did she jump? They raped her. I'm like, whoa. Now, I'm not saying that rape is a good thing, but if it has happened to you, I want you to know that it doesn't have the power to take the shine from the rest of your life.
Sure.
And nobody will do this for you. You've got to sit yourself down and tell yourself that enough. I have carried this guilt. I have carried this pain for long enough. But I'm going to rise from the ashes of this experience and be who God has called me to be.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Wow.
And be who God has called me to be.
Lot. That's a whole lot. But let's move to, that's a whole lot. Okay, we need to talk about, what's it called? Female gender-based violence, gender-based violence, okay? A lot of times, as a woman, let's look at it from the women perspective. As a wife, first of all, you know, when you're being abused, let's say by your husband, you're expected one way or the other to stay in that institution and look for a way to figure things out with your husband and all of that, still going through all of those abuses. Now you have a girl child in that same system who would eventually want to settle down and might likely have that same psychological damage and move on with it to our own marriage. Okay. So it seemed like it's going from one generation to the other. Yeah. What can be done, at least to salvage the girl child? Because we need to put a stop, a total stop to gender-based violence.
Thank you. Now, you know, one position that advocates of gender-based violence have is that the Bible says God hates divorce. And one day I thought about it and I said there are so many other things that God hates.
That's true.
God hates adultery. He hates fornication. He hates it when you lie. He hates it when you steal from your neighbor. So you can't just say that because a woman left a relationship or a marriage where she was being abused, she's not going to make it to heaven. Because we have some extremists like that who say that in the last days, a woman who left her husband on the grounds of either sexual promiscuity or gender-based violence will not get to heaven. Now, one of my mentors said, if you stay in an abusive marriage and eventually they are beating the blue lights out of your destiny. A friend shared a post recently, though the woman already walked away from the marriage. But one day, one of those moments when her husband was high on whatever weed he was snuffing, came home and smashed her head against the wall.
Oh my Jesus.
She actually lived, but till today, she has migraine. And she said to us, I read from her too, that she wished she walked out of the marriage earlier. Yeah. Now, see, my mom, though she didn't go to the university, said before she died, and my dad also told us the story, that when they were, you know, doing that, and my mom said, Bro John, thank you, but let me tell you this, the day you raise your hand to beat me, that will be the last day in that house. My dad said the fear literally jumped on him, and it was like, if anything happens, they will talk about it, not on him. I mean, when we were growing, we know that this man and this woman, like something, but we don't used to, what's my own business? Because the next moment now, they are smiling again. See, I'm not saying that in marriage, there will be days where you'll be like, oh, Jesus. And there will be days when it's like, oh it's my sugar daddy. She's my honey bunny. And there will be days where you're like,
oh my God. Why did I marry this man?
But saying, if all of that now graduates to a level where it's either the wife is beating the husband, because some women beat their husbands.
I heard that.
So that people now, say that it's because they are talking about women.
Yes, so
some women beat their husbands. So, Oga, will you now run away from your house? Or, it's a two-way thing. But we're saying your partner should never raise their hands at you. Not to now talk of, okay, it happened once, it was a mistake. It was out of provocation. It was this, it was that. But it shouldn't even happen at all in the first place. Yes. But let's now assume that, okay, it happened. Then it now happened again. It's happening again. It's happening again. I mean, there are women their husbands beat even when they are pregnant. And the baby will say, I don't have a choice. I must come to planet Earth today by fire, by force. The next thing would be to separate from that person.
Sure.
And let them go for either counseling, they will get help. Because, see, abusers, if you study it very well, they've been abused at some point in their lives. So men who beat their wives or women who beat their husbands, at one point or the other in their lives, they were abused. But if you have gone through all the channels, okay, he beats you, he has been beating you, okay, separate from him. Let him go for counseling. If you get back together again, he's still beating you, then that is your ticket to say, Mr. Nebuchadnezzar, I tried. God knows. I tried. You also tried, but we cannot work together as a couple. It is better for you to walk away with your life intact, with your body parts intact, with your organs intact, than to walk away from the marriage as a damaged goods. And honestly, I will not wish this on even my enemy. Someone slapping you, someone punching you in the face, someone kicking you even when you're pregnant. It doesn't make any sense to me and can never make any sense. So please, our churches, our religious leaders should tell women that they have the right to walk away from places where they are being abused. You will not go to hell because you said you put your foot down and said, no, I don't want to be abused anymore.
And that brings our discussion to a close.
Thank you.
I'm sure Mama Fab still has so much to say.
No, I'm done.
Well, we have to.
I'm done.
But we have to go. But before we go, we need to take our parenting vow. Yes, don't forget, we have to take that right away. And of course, our guest to take that with us. It's showing on your screen right now. So join us right now. Take the pledge posture. Yeah, Mama Fab there. Let's start. 1, 2, 3, go.
I promise to love my children unconditionally, feed them nutritiously, protect them from harm, treat them with respect, guide them in learning from mistakes, laugh with them, play with them, comfort them in times of sadness, encourage them to develop their talents, support them in striving to achieve their goals, be open and honest with them, and be there for them for the rest of their life. So help us God.
Amen. It's them for her right now. She has 2 kids. For me, it's still 1.
Oh my God. Maybe you have 4.
Glory to Jesus.
Glory to God.
Thank you so much, Ma, for joining us.
It's a great pleasure.
A wonderful session.
Yeah,
thank you so much.
you.
We're so grateful.
Thank
On behalf of the cast and crew of Star Parents, we want to say thank you again.
Thank you.
We hope we call you some other time.
Maybe.
We'll see you here.
If there is a time.
All right, viewers, thank you so much for watching today. Till I see you on the next episode, don't forget to train up your child in the way he should go, so that when he's old, it will never depart from you. Till next time, my name is GOFAMINT. Bye.